You have other reasons in your life and you can point them out to being tired. I think if you constantly are feeling tired and don't have any other reason in your life that you could account this to, I would probably, after, a few weeks, you constantly feel tired, you don't have energy, you feel lost. Maybe you have other symptoms like also fevers that could point to an infection, or you start feeling just in general you don't sleep well. I would probably seek a doctor after that time, just if it doesn't get better and you don't have a change on and off, but it constantly stays with you.
And Dr. Brennan, you said something interesting a minute ago. You said something like, don't think about it too much. Do you think there are people that obsess over it? Because obviously, if you're having a little bit of brain fog, it's going to bother you. If you think about it more and more and more and obsess over it, could that actually make it worse?
Yeah, I mean, focusing your attention on pain, for example, it makes it more likely that you will experience the pain. So, distraction can be a good ploy and a good way to take your focus away from the thing that is possibly stressing you out. Touching back on what you were just saying there about brain fog, when to consider that it's something that you need to seek attention for. I mean, we've all experienced the symptoms of brain fog at some point or other, whether it's because of jet lag or burning the candle at both ends, but that usually resolves itself. The thing with brain fog is, that the symptoms are persistent, they occur regularly, and they start to interfere with your ability to carry out your job. They interfere with your relationships and your quality of life. I mean, for a lot of people who have multiple symptoms of brain fog, they often say to me, like, I feel like I've lost myself. I don't recognize myself anymore. And if you think about it, the cognitive domains that are affected by brain fog are multiple. So we have executive functioning, that's your focus, your ability to plan, to organize, to make decisions. You have memory, you have word finding issues, you have language problems in that your speech may not be as fluent or as rich as it ordinarily would be. You also have problems with processing speed. So it can take a long time for you to take information in, make sense of it, formulate a response, uh, and then reply. Now, if you're somebody who's always quick-witted or the first one in for a sharp response or who comes up with the most creative ideas, if you have brain fog, you're unable to do those things anymore. And so it's almost like a personality change. And people have said to me things like, it's interfering with their relationship because their husband maybe has told them that he has to do X, Y, Z, or he's going to be away next week, or he can't go to such and such a dinner party. And they say, their wife might say, no, what do you mean you can't go? And their husband will say, well, I told you last week. I don't remember that you told me. And that's brain fog. But the husband may go, well, you don't listen to me anymore. And
Yeah, I can imagine, Dr. Brennan. I can imagine how scary that must be if you feel like your personality is changing. That really must just really terrify people. Dr. Zamar, obviously we've heard that exercise, eating well, sleeping right can all help fix brain fog and make it better. But are there any like sort of mental tricks that you should be doing or mental exercises, I should say, that could also help?
Absolutely. I think depending on what you enjoy, sometimes the younger generation likes to have video games and things like that that they like to play, and there's a ton of them where you can play games that stimulate your mind. The brain is essentially no different than a muscle. The more you train the muscle, the more it grows. The brain is the same way. We call it plasticity. The more you train the circuits of memory, the more they will build and they will grow. And there's uh, puzzles, um, uh, any kind of quizzes that people like, a ton of things. Even I've had a friend who said, "Hey, at age 70, his dad started to learn new language." These are all things that stimulate the brain in a variety of ways, and I think if we have that to continuously stimulate the brain, in whatever you enjoy doing. Challenge the brain. Don't stop challenging it. We sometimes, with age, start to get into the habit of always doing the same things, being in our comfort zone. It's good to stimulate the brain and get out of comfort zone. For example, learning a new language. These are all the things that keeps that muscle grow and keeps our brain active and healthy.
And when you mentioned getting into our comfort zone, I want to ask you this because I've wondered this with my parents and grandparents. When they
Yeah.
retire and they get out of that routine of constant stimulation every day and going to work every day and interacting with lots of people, can that impact brain fog and can that actually impact the brain?
It depends what you do when you retire. I think if you decide to stay at home um, and do nothing else and be isolated in an environment, absolutely it can. There's a lot of studies in animals and humans where we know and we call it enriched environment. So the more your environment stimulates your brain, the more your circuits, your nerve cells are staying in shape and in tone. I think if you are retired and you say, hey, I'm going to go play golf, I'm going to go travel, I'm going to go meet friends, so you have this enriched environment and stimulating effects coming in your brain, I would have no concern. I do think, though, that that stage, specifically when you have this routine for years and years and years, you go to work. My dad, for example, I say to him, hey, when do you want to retire? He says, hey, it's not about, for me, it's not about making money. I want that routine. I love that. That's the stimulating part of my brain.
Yeah, that
So
that
for
makes
some
perfect
people,
sense.
yeah,
It makes perfect sense. Yeah.
yeah. I think for some people, work is the routine, and if you stop doing it, to come back to the question, just start having new routines and things that you enjoy that stimulate your brain.
Got to stay busy. Makes sense. Okay, Dr. Zamar and Dr. Brennan, thank you so much for being with us tonight. So much helpful information. We appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.
Okay.